The world's second largest economy is facing the spectre of deflation. The consumer prices index, that's this chart behind me, slipped into negative territory in July. It means prices actually fell for the first time since early 2021. Back then, it was a collapse in pork prices that fueled deflation. This time, things are a little more serious, as a slowdown in domestic and global demand is depressing prices. Now, it may seem like a remote concern to countries like the UK, which are battling against the opposite problem, prices that are rising too quickly. But China is a major exporter to the rest of the world, and here in Britain, we count China as our largest import partner for goods. So if sustained, deflation in China could ripple through to the rest of the world, meaning cheaper imports for consumers. And predominantly, it's things like office machinery, tech and electronics that we're buying from China. These could become cheaper, and that should, in theory, help to keep inflation in check. But it's unlikely to make a massive dent in the UK's inflation problem. Here in Britain, it's food prices that are the major concern. The effects of the energy crisis are also still working their way through the economy. So a fall in the price of Chinese imports won't solve our problems. And while it may offer some support, a sustained period of deflation could create far bigger problems than it solves, because it could cause Chinese consumers and businesses to delay spending, and that's worrying for UK exporters.
Prior to the pandemic, the Chinese market was a very rapidly growing market for the UK. But now, with the Chinese economy growing at a pace of about 5% per year, the outlook, I think, in terms of UK exports to China is for a more muted expansion, although it's still, I think, a positive market.
Potentially bad news for global growth too, which has relied on China. As you can see here, economic growth in China has been racing ahead of other major economies for decades. So a slowdown in the second largest economy will have an outsized impact on global trade, consumption and commodity prices. In short, it will have ramifications for all of us.